most painful night for the ladies and for the children of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam was with the orphans of Imam Hussein, captivated and chained with ropes and chains, alone, without any protector. Only with the soldiers of Yazid, without Hussein alayhi salam, without Abbas alayhi salam, without Akbar alayhi salam, without Qasim, only with the soldiers of Yazid. It was the most painful night for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And the next day, they wanted to take Ahlul Bayt away from Karbala. What was the next day? 11th of Muharram. And to torture Ahlul Bayt more, they took the ladies and the children through the battlefield to see the bodies of their beloved ones, their dear ones, without heads on the sand of Karbala, to burn the hearts of Ahlul Bayt. And during that day and that night, they were in their way towards the next stop. Where was the next stop after Karbala? No, Mosul is in the north of Iraq. We are still near to Karbala. Kufa, mashallah sister. The next stop was in Kufa. And they arrived there after one night and one day. So when was that? After one night and one day. You are with me, brothers? 12 of Muharram, mashallah. And this distance between Kufa to Karbala, as you know, Kufa now is connected to Najaf. So what is the distance between Najaf to Karbala? You see all these walkers and zawars, they walk all this distance between Najaf to Karbala. How many kilometers is this distance? 80 kilometers, sister. Thank you. May Allah reward you. 80 kilometers. The Ahlul Bayt walked and came from Karbala to Kufa. Kufa was the same city of the capital of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. This is the same city where Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam used to be the Khalifa. The same city where Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam used to be the first lady and the teacher of the women of Kufa. But today the same Zainab is entering to the same Kufa, but with ropes and chains chained to her hands and feet and neck. Bani Umayyah humiliated Ahlul Bayt. To humiliate them more, they took them through the most crowded street, the market of Kufa. And then to humiliate them more, they put them in the place where they used to sell the sheep and the camels. And then Ibn Ziyad said, "O people of Kufa, anyone who wants to look at the Sabaya and look at the captives, go to the market of Kufa." So one told him, "O Ibn Ziyad, do you want all the Arab tribes to revolt and raise up against you? Because among the ladies of the captives, there are the wives of the companions of Hussein, and they are from different Arab tribes. And these tribes will feel that shame, and they will rise up against you." So Ibn Ziyad said and told the tribes to come and take their women away. So Bani Tamim came and said, "Ta'ali ya Tamimiyya ilayna." They called a lady from Bani Tamim and took her. Bani Asad came and said, "Ta'ali ya Asadiyya ilayna." They took the ladies of Bani Asad. Banu Amir came and they took the ladies of Banu Amir. And then only one mu'mina woman remained with the ladies of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam from Bani Fazara. Her tribe came and said, "Ya Fazariya, ta'ali ilayna." And this lady, this mu'mina lady, refused to go with her tribe. She wanted to suffer with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, to endure with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and to be with them. But then at last her tribe threatened her. "O Fazariya, if you don't come with us, we'll kill you just to get rid of this chain." So Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam told her, "Jazakillah khayran ya ukhta." May Allah reward you, my sister. But go with your tribe. As Bani Umayyah only wants to humiliate the family of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. At that moment, Sayyida Zainab alayhi salam stood in the market of Kufa and gave her famous, immortal sermon, Khutbat al-Kufa. And she spoke with the same eloquency and bravery of her father, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. The people of Kufa, as if they were listening to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam himself, she said, وَيْلٌ لَكُمْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكُوفَةِ يا أهل المكر والخديعة أتدرون أي كبد لرسول الله فريتم وأي دم له سفكتم وأي كريمة له أبرزتم لقد جئتم شيئا إدا تكاد السماوات يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال هدا. Do you know that you've shed the very blood of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi? And you have captivated the daughter of Rasulullah. You have committed a very big crime and sin that will make the mountains to collapse. Then Imam Zahidi Arb3een gave his famous lecture and told the people of Kufa how they killed all his family in Karbala, all his brothers and cousins and the companions, and even they killed his little brother, the little infant Abdullah Ar-Radi'a. To humiliate Ahlul Bayt more, Ibn Ziyad took them to his palace and then put them in the prison of Kufa. But at that time, on the same day, a letter came from the king in Damascus. Who was the king in Damascus? Who was the king in Damascus? Yazid la'natullahi alayhi. Asking Ibn Ziyad that now today you should send all the heads of shuhada, of the martyrs, and all the captives of Ahlul Bayt to Damascus. And as I told you, they didn't take the shortcut way. We'll return to this map again. They didn't take the shortcut way from here, from Karbala, South Iraq, to here to Damascus, South Syria. They went up towards the north of Iraq to Mosul here. And in their way, they passed through many towns and many villages, through Tikrit and many other towns. And these soldiers of Yazid were telling every town and city before they arrived that the Khawarij, the Kafirs, who revolted against Khalifatul Muslimin Yazid, will arrive to your city, and this is a victory for the king. You have to celebrate, and this is a Eid. You have to come, all of you, with your children, and wear your best clothes, and wait at the gate of your city. So whenever the captives of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam were getting near to any city, the soldiers of Yazid will bring the children of Imam Hussein down from the camels and make them walk chained towards the gate of that city, where they will receive them with stones. When they pass by them, they will curse them, stone them, and make fun of them. And it kept on like this, all these cities and all these villages, until they arrived to that city in the north of Iraq. What was the name of the city? Mosul. May Allah reward you. They arrived to Mosul, but the condition was no better than other villages and cities. And there they mistreated and humiliated the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and put it on ground, on a rock. And then they moved away from this. But what happened, that after that day, these drops of blood on that rock in Mosul, in every year, in the day of Ashura, it was becoming fresh again. And the people of Mosul, who were not followers of Ahlul Bayt, they were not Shias, they started to gather around that rock and see this miracle of Ahlul Bayt and remember the martyrdom of Imam Hussein and cry for the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and to take their hajat from that miracle of the blood of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and convert to the way of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And this kept on till the days of Abdul Malik bin Marwan, who was another Umayyad king, was very vicious and oppressive, and he heard that there is a rock in Mosul, and this rock has the blood of Imam Hussein, and this blood becomes fresh every year, and the people of Mosul is gathering there, and they are becoming Shias and followers of Ahlul Bayt. So he was very worried and afraid of that. See how powerful as few drops of the blood of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. See the power of the blood of Imam Hussein. It can shake a kingdom. It can shake a king. So this King Abdul Malik bin Marwan wrote a letter to his governor in Mosul and told him what to do. So this governor came with his men, with big hammers, and they broke that rock and smashed it. But what happened after that? More people started to know the reality and the truth and the way of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And more people started to join the way of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And as the Holy Quran says in Surah At-Tawbah, verse 32, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, يريدون أن يطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم ويأبى الله إلا أن يتم نوره ولو كره الكافرون. They want to extinguish the light of Allah with their mouths, but Allah refuses except to perfect His light. After Mosul, they went to another town called Sinjar. They went towards Syria. So we are here. We'll go back to this map. We are here in Mosul. Now they are moving towards Syria. Here somewhere near Mosul there is an area called Sinjar. And there in Sinjar, a little girl from this caravan, because of the severe torturing and the severe whipping, she passed away. Her name was Zainab. So Imam Zayn al-Abdin alayhi salam buried her there on top of a hill. And today if you go to Sinjar, you will see two hills facing each other. One is totally barren, and another one full of greenery and roses and trees, and on the top of that hill there is a beautiful shrine for Zainab bint al-Husayn. And all the people and the Shias know this beautiful shrine. And because Mosul is very far from Karbala, for Arb3een to walk all the distance from Mosul to Karbala, so the Shias of Mosul and around Mosul nowadays, they walk from Mosul towards Sinjar, to that shrine of Zainab bint al-Husayn, where you can see thousands of mu'min go there and take their hajat from that shrine. And because people started to get their hajat, even Christians of that area started to go to that area, to that shrine. And even now, a minority there in Iraq called Yazidis, they started to go to this shrine and visit this shrine. Imagine a little girl from the captives of Ahlul Bayt, a little girl of Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam, who passed away in a deserted land. No one knew about it. Now has this beautiful shrine, which has become the destination of thousands of mu'mineen and even from other religions. You see that Yazid, by this long way, he wanted to torture Ahlul Bayt more, make them go through more pains and suffering. But the planning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was different. The planning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to live in every spot and every city and every village. They passed through a shrine for Ahlul Bayt and a reminder of the suffering of Imam Hussein, the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, and the suffering of the captives, so can it guide people in all ages and in all times towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why you can also find, other than Zainab bint al-Husayn, you go to Ba'albak, you find Sayyida Khawla bint al-Husayn alayhi salam. You go to Damascus, you find Sayyida Ruqayya bint al-Husayn alayhi salam. All throughout this way. And then after Sinjar, they are coming here towards Syria. They pass through many cities like Nasibin and Harran, and they arrived to Aleppo very tired in one afternoon. And when they first arrived to Aleppo, the soldiers of Yazid, they saw a very old church. It was called Martha Marotha Church. Martha Marotha. And this church is one of the oldest churches in the whole world and in the Middle East. So they saw this church and they decided to rest there in the yard of that church. So they brought the children and the ladies of Ahlul Bayt, they whipped them and hit them and brought them to that yard and make them to sit on the dust in the yard of that church, and to humiliate the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, they put it on the ground. And then they sat and started to play chess next to the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So this priest, the priest of this church, heard this noise and the laughing of these soldiers too. So he came out and he was surprised to see a group of innocent children tied with ropes and chains, sitting on the dust with faces full of purity. He was amazed to see a head lying on the ground, full of light and nur. And he saw these soldiers who were laughing. So he came to them and he said, "Who are you? And whose head is this?" So they told him, "We are the soldiers of Khalifa al-Muslimin, Yazid bin Muawiyah." "And who is this head for?" "This is the head of Hussein bin Ali." He said, "Hussein bin Ali, son of Fatima, daughter of your prophet?" They said, "Yes." He said, "If Isa, Jesus the Christ, had the son, will protect him and put him in our eyes, and you cut off the head of your prophet's son and put it on the ground?" So he went into the church and then he came out with a bag of golden coins. And he told these soldiers, "I will give you all this gold. Only keep this head with me for this night. And I will return it to you tomorrow morning. And you will not lose anything. You will have the gold and you will have the head." So these soldiers looked at each other and they accepted happily. They are not going to lose anything. They will get the gold of the priest, and at the same time they will have the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So this priest took the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam into the church. He cleaned it and washed it from all the blood and the dust. He put it on a perfumed silk material, and he started to talk to the head of Imam Hussein. "O head, by the haqq of this nur I see in you, by the haqq of this shining light coming from your face, talk to me." So the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, "O priest, ishhad an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah wa sa'akunu shafi'aka yawm al-qiyamah. I will intercede for you in the day of judgment." When this priest saw the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam talking, he burst into crying. He hugged the head of Imam Hussein and he started to say, "وَيْلٌ لِقَوْمٍ قَتَلُوكَ وَيْلٌ لِقَوْمٍ ظَلَمُوكَ أَشْهَدُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَأَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ." And then he started to cry loudly. The second salawat louder. This priest remained the whole night weeping and crying next to the head of Imam Hussein. And because he was a Roman skillful sculptor, he wanted to make a sculpture, a statue for the head of Imam Hussein to immortalize this painful scene. And the whole night he was weeping next to the head of Imam Hussein and making the sculpture till the morning. Then at the morning when he finished, he was not able to tolerate anymore this oppression and suppression against Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So he took out a sword and he attacked the soldiers of Yazid, and he fought them, and then he was killed and he became a shaheed, a martyr, and he joined the other martyrs with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And today, if you go to Aleppo, in the place of this church, you will find a very beautiful shrine. And it's called the Shrine of the Drop. Strange name. The Shrine of the Drop. Mashhad al-Nuqta. To symbolize those drops of blood for the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam on that rock. And dear brothers and sisters, It's the only place in the whole world where you can see the blood of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You still can see the blood of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in that rock. And it happened several times in history that this blood of Imam Hussein has become fresh again on that rock. And the last time was in 1995, in the day of Ashura, when a group of Zawars, visitors from Pakistan, they were doing Latmiya, Ma'tam,